Hi, everyone, and welcome to this 10th edition of the Portage Dev Diary. I'm Chris, I'm the founder, and I'm here also today to walk you through the first major update. Number one, starting with A, because we're going in alphabetical order, this month is Avocado. And what that is it's a way of bundling up all the changes that have happened in the month of September. Just to give a bit of a name to it so it's easier to refer to, because the platform will continue to evolve over time. So just to recap, what's in the major update number one is updates to the chat, updates to Foresight, and updates to files. Now there's probably a lot of things happening behind the scenes that's too numerous to mention. In fact, there was over 10 releases in September and about 150 builds. And what that means is a lot of activity going on, and this is a way of just really summarizing it all up for you. So let's go through some of the changes that were in Foresight. So if we just jump into that section now, you can see that we've got our trend landscape reports and future vectors. If we dive into the trend landscapes, these are reports bringing together internet searches, what we call signals. Those signals are then collated and brought together inside a report here, which gives you a good overview of what's happening, for example, in environmental policy and regulation. And if we go across here, we can see our 25 categories in each of the different domains that we want to cover. In fact, as I'm recording this, I'm processing October's update, which is generating right now. So this is trends landscape. So this is what's happening. If we jump over to future vectors, this is what could happen. And so we can jump into that same domain, which was environmental policy and regulation. And we might go in, okay, climate finance superpowers. And what this vector is doing is combining trends from the landscapes and then extrapolating them into a plausible future. And so what this lets you do is exercise a bit of your futures thinking muscle, try to think a little bit more flexibly, a little bit more about what's possible in the future, to really exercise that critical skill. The other thing we've done is upgrade chat. Chat's a lot more simple now. Simplified this interface, and if we go over here, we can see chats can now access trend landscapes and then also the future vectors. And what that means is that you can ask the chat or ask the AI something as simple as, what are some recent trends for EVs? Different chat models that are out there right now, ChatGPT or Anthropic Claude or Google's Gemini, they might go and do some internet searches to try to get some more recent information, or they might rely on the information that's in their training data. For the case of the training data, that's going to be out of date. And some of those models, they're getting to be almost a year out of date. And for the ones who are able to augment their information with internet searches, the trouble with that is that they're going from sort of nothing. They're just searching and they're trying to gather that information. And so sometimes you get good information and sometimes not. What's different about Portage's chat interface is that all of these search results you're seeing here, they're from the trend landscapes. They've been hand selected, hand cleaned, so that you know you're getting good quality information. And you can see there what are some recent trends for EVs. It's picking out a bunch of different topics. It's got the links where you can go and source that information yourself to see firsthand. And then it's going to summarize that information and then try to provide you some actionable steps from it. So it's contextualizing that information for you. But what I really wanted to show today was the new files module. Now, this has been rebuilt from the ground up. There was quite a lot of improvements that needed to be made. The way the files were processed really wasn't cutting it. As I tried to explore different sources that people would use. So I've gathered up a bunch of example PDFs and doing quite a lot of testing to make sure that it's able to process them. So what's changed? Well, one, the user interface is a little bit different, and there's also a different processing engine. But let's go and quickly have a look at the user interface. You'll notice it's much faster than it was before, and a lot more simple. The other thing done is to remove the different options for having different styles of summarization. Trying to keep things really, really simple at the moment. And so there's just one version of the summary, which gives you a couple different takes. So first it gives you a one sentence summary, then it extracts the main points, then gives you some advice for leaders, and then it goes into a deep analysis where it'll explain to you what are the patterns that it's recognizing in that file and what's some analysis of that. So if you just want to get the quick gist of something, you can sort of stay at the top of the summary. But if you want to start to understand a little bit more about what this may mean, you can go down into this deeper analysis. Now, you can also have a look at the content, and then this will tell you what the extraction engine's been able to take out of a PDF. And I'm not going to bore you with the technical details, but PDFs are extremely difficult to extract information from. There's nothing about a PDF that explains what that information is. It's really just a layout engine. It's really meant just for printing. So there's nothing that tells a computer or some sort of script or an algorithm that a heading's a heading and a body text is a body text. And so you need to rely on machine learning, which is what the extraction engine that is being used supplies. And so you can see it's kind of understood different parts of the document that we're looking at. It's picked out things like bullet points and so on. And if we go down, we might see some tables. It's actually been able to pull out some of the tables that were present in the PDF, which is pretty amazing capability. And in testing some of these PDFs, I haven't really found one that's been able to stump it. So we'll see how each of you go and see if there's any problems. If there is, obviously give me that feedback and we can look to improve it. So the other thing just to point out is the fragments. Now, what we do with files is we kind of shred them into smaller pieces. And what that means is these small pieces can then be loaded by the chat to help contextualize some of the information. Now, there's quite a lot of fragments here, so it's not something that you normally would go into, and I'm really just leaving visible for now just to help make sure that the fragments are being split properly and they're actually useful. In future versions, we'll probably hide that. But let's go through the process of actually adding a file. So it's pretty simple. You can browse for a file or drag and drop something. I'm actually going to drop in something that is, it is, a lot of the documents I have are from my previous life working in aged care. So this one is it is a roadmap provided about the Australian aged care community for what needs to happen in the next 10 years. And so I've loaded that file there. We can hit upload. And what it's going to do is take you to the processing page. Now, this tends to take about 2 to 4 minutes or so per file. So you don't actually have to wait here. You can pop back to the main page. You can see you can wait for the status there. The other thing you can do is load up another file. So we could pick something a little bit different here. This might be the research paper around integrated care in aged care that was provided to the Royal Commission about 4 years ago. So we can upload that as well. We can run multiple of these files together. Again, it takes about 2 minutes or so. And if you do get stuck, sometimes this indicator will kind of freeze for a little bit, but it is processing in the background. But if you've given it about 10 minutes and it's not moved on, you can hit this reprocess button, which will send it back. And if you do get stuck, send me an email. I can see things on the back end. I'm gonna probably kickstart it for you to get it done. Just realized that file is the same as this one. So you can see it's almost done processing, but we're basically going to get the same results as this now. And you can always re-extract the content or delete the file if you don't like. Every account has about 5 gigabytes of storage, which is plenty when you consider most of these files are quite small. And yeah, as I mentioned, the files themselves become available in chat. They are also available in boards. So if we jump over to board, we can create a new board. We can do something like open a file and I want this aged care roadmap. So you can see that's the aged care roadmap. And I can do something as simple as just drop an impact assessment. And what this will do is we can then start to generate impacts and potential courses of action. So based on that file, I can already start to jump into a what to do about it kind of mode. And so we could say, okay, well, let's specialize in dementia care, for example. We can start to create the courses of action, which will then outline, what are the steps that the organization can take to specialize in dementia care. Again, you can drop multiple files in. So we could say, let's have a look at a different file as well. So we'll bring that one in. In this case, let's look at, this is about litigation, this global disputes forecast. So let's drop that in there. We'll combine the outputs and we'll regenerate again. And we can look at what are our potential courses of action across both of those files. Not to mention, we could start to bring in other things like trend landscapes. We might want to start searching for, we could start searching for aged care. And we can see, well, what trends can we find that are related to that? Well, obviously aging population and so on. We can drag that into there and start picking off a couple of these things, health trends and challenges, why not? Again, you can click on here to have a look and see what's the detail behind those things. Let's go and regenerate some of those impacts. And we can see here that we start to get some things that are quite interesting as a combination of all of those upstream things. So that's it for this week's update. It's all selected like that. Stay tuned for the next update in a couple weeks. If you have not subscribed to Portage yet, I encourage you to do so. There's an 80% discount for 6 months still on offer, but that will be going away soon. So if you're thinking about subscribing, now is the time to do it. And if you are also available and interested in providing an interview or some sort of more, or give me the ability to interview you about what you might want to see in this platform, that would be super helpful and it would help me greatly. So until next time, take care and we'll see you in the next update.